Alright, so we're back on the Dumas Lockheed Air Express, the Gilmore Oil Roscoe Turner airplane, and we've got the elements of the the basic elements of the fuselage framed and unpinned from the deck. The opposite side formers and keels have been placed, and the landing gear main wire has been installed to the former bulkhead number 4 addendum, and then that combination part is attached now to the front of bulkhead former number 4. And that's all here in these steps from 11, 12, and 13, and 14. You can see it's a pretty intricate wire bend here. The gear comes up, across, down, angled into this notch, and back up and out again. I don't know if you can see it on the plan here, but this is the bend diagram. And then the supplemental part that goes under that is here. We've already bent this wire. And this is also part of the main gear. This is the supplemental struts that come from the center of the fuselage and attach at each of these points. I don't know if you can see that. So this will go on later. Actually debated whether or not to install the gear this way, or just to build the fuselage, leave this part out, and then cut the individual legs and attach landing gear legs, as I did on the float struts and wing struts of the Aranca. Just drill and insert. But this definitely gives you better structure. This, having the wire go through and be one continuous piece of core wire, definitely helps the model withstand time a lot better. And again, I want these to last a little while. I don't necessarily know why. I just know that that's what I want. Some durability built in. So that's what I've done. Right. So bending wire. It seems to come up a lot. Balsa wood scale models require that you be able to bend piano wire in various diameters. And all you need to do for that is have a pair of good, strong, stiff pliers. The little pliers won't cut it. Right? You need something that you can grip and secure the wire with. I usually work from the tip of the pliers, make the bend, and in fact I was going to kind of show you something with this. So we've also got the 2 wing strut wires, and what I plan to do with these is I'm going to install them to the airplane. That's the next step, and they go on something like this and this, with a balsa wood strip going across the open end connection and gluing those actually to I think to the faces of these. Yeah, the faces of these bulkheads, so they go on this side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to install these this way, but then when I go to place the wing, I'm not going to just lay the wing on top here. I'm going to end up cutting these and then dropping my airfoil strut, aluminum airfoil strut material over the top, so that the wing will essentially have, I think, about this much capture. It's not a lot. I probably should have bent these a little bigger, a little oversized. In fact, I might just do that. I might just rebend these instead of going to the plan, as in this over here. I might extend these up and then go across. Let me think about that. Either overall the wing's going to be just a little bit closer to the fuselage, or when I build the wing, there are these kind of bullet shaped nodes that attach to both the fuselage and under the lower wing surface that these struts go into. They're almost like you would see on a, I'd show you, but I've got the camera fixed now and I can't switch it over to my illustration, my photograph. But you know, on a cowl, when it has the bumps, raised bumps on it where the cylinder heads are, NACA did that so that they could make the cowlings as tight to the engine as possible and yet still have room for those bumps on top of the cylinders where the lifter arms go up into the rockers at the top of the cylinder where the valves are. And so it's that same style of airfoil shaped bump, only a little bit larger, that go into each of the 4 positions on the fuselage where the struts are coming out, and then also in each of the positions on the underwing surface where the struts enter the wing. And so I think if I can probably use these, provided I do that build-up area around each of the struts. I think that's what I'll end up doing, because I was going to do that anyway. But if it looks like the wing's going to be too close to the fuselage, using these cut down as I was planning on doing, then I'll have to rethink. I'll have to figure out at that point how I want to raise that up, make that look at scale again. So I'm just going to think about that before I install these in the next few minutes. So anyway, this is our current status. The next step here is again to either install these or not. I'm kind of leaning now away from using them, but I've made them anyway. And then add the stringers and get the fuselage strung with the 16th square material strip stock. And that's our next phase. Get it to this condition here, and then begin infill on the fuselage. Once we have the fuselage infilled completely, I'll begin work on the upper wing, and we'll get that rolling. I'm going to do the tail surfaces as I did on the Aranca. I'm not going to build them up. Instead, I'm going to cut out the pattern from the sheet, from the plan sheet, and just lay that onto 16th strips sheet stock, and do the lamination thing where we cross band the laminations together to make the part so that it can't warp. Yeah, we're going to do it that way. We're not going to do the build-up. Save some time. And again, the focus on this aircraft model is going to be the finishing, getting that paint and those decals applied properly, and get that finished effect. Also, we're going to devote some time to getting the motor right, replicating that Wright J5 Whirlwind engine. I think is the one we want to go for. And I'll either use a Williams Brothers kit of the Pratt & Whitney Wasp Junior, or I might just create a dummy engine myself using wood dowel, wood block, and other materials. We're going to be using my solder again to do the exhaust plumbing, and we'll be using and creating the electrical wiring harness again, like we did on the other motor, on the Stearman Cloudboy. So if you want to see how the motor is going to come together, probably look at that video from the channel on detailing the motor for the Cloudboy C3 or YPT9 Cloudboy. Just take a look at that, because that's what we're going to be doing here as well. So those are next steps, and we're getting we're moving on. So I want to talk about bending wire. Oh, yeah, I wanted to actually do that, didn't I? So what I do when I'm bending wire, I'm hoping you guys can see. Once again, we're kind of off center here. So let's say, for instance, on this part, obviously you need a piece of wire that is long enough. I'm going to use something short here and just kind of partially run through this. But it's pretty basic. You're just going to line up your initial bend, which is this lower one, and I just mark the wire right in the center of that bend, not off the end and not early, but right right in the middle of it. So then we check our part. No, that didn't work. Let's try that again. There it is. Okay, so now we have a mark on the part. And there it is, right there. You're just going to take your pliers toward the nose, put that mark right on the edge of your clip of your pliers, and give that first bend, and just approximate it. You don't have to be perfect on the first try, because this takes a few tries. And we lay it back over the drawing and just see where it comes out. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just a little too wide of an angle. We just need to bring it in a bit. So we just grip it again, keeping everything square, and just give it a small push. And that should put us where we need to be. Let's see, we're probably too far now, yeah. So now we're just a little too far, or just overbend. So we come back with an underbend, we'll pull it down, we'll just get it like this, lay your fingers across the backside, and just give it a slight down. Let the wire spring a little bit, and there you have, that's right on the money there. So now you're going to mark the next bend, and again you're going right to the middle of it. See our mark here? So now when you grip this, you want to keep everything square and flat. In other words, if I get this all twisted up, we're going to end up with a part that's cantawampus, and we don't want that. You want everything square. So if you look at this, you're going to sight right down the top, and this needs to be straight up at a 90-degree angle, right? So when you're looking at that, you don't have this or this, right? You want that thing to be right at 90, just straight up and down, so that when you rotate slightly, if you're looking at it and you rotate slightly and you bring the point of this up, now you have a reference line. You have enough of an angle here that it looks almost like it's this way. So you have two straight lines to compare. You have this line, the underline, and then that line behind it. And they should line up just like a gun sight, right? Just like a basic revolver gun sight. You've got this line now lining up with this line. So just turn it until you see that is lined up, and then make your second bend. And again, you're just pushing forward and straight against that. And in this, you see this line is parallel to this line, so you're really going to give this a good bend until you're parallel, right? See that? Now you see these are parallel to each other practically. All right, let's pull it out and take a look. So we line this one up first, get it right on the mark, and now you see this is just a slight underbend. So we grab it again, line everything up, and just pull it that much tighter, just that little bit tighter. Now we're probably over. Yeah, we're just a little bit too far in. So I'm just going to pop it back a bit. Now, in spite of my best effort, I still have a bit of a twist here. We're gonna torque this up a little bit right here. Okay, so if you're looking at that, you can see there's a twist. Gosh darn it! So you're just going to grab it like that and twist it back. Make it go the other way until you're happy. Oh, that's way too much, right? So you see, you can adjust that. And you want to do that as you go. You don't want to leave it for tomorrow. Anytime, you're checking for all this stuff. You're checking for overbend, underbend, and twist. Constantly checking for all three. Overbend, underbend, and twist. So we're a little under at this stop here. We're going to get this right now. We're just going to grab that right there. Take a quick sight. And just pop it down a little bit. Just a little. I think that was too far. Alright, now we're good here and here. We're just a little tight here, so we're just going to pop this one back out again. Around and around we go. It seems like we're chasing our tail a little bit, but this is how. And there you see we got a perfect line, right? We're dead on all the way around. We're at exactly the right corners. We're exactly the shape. Okay, I hope you can see that. But that's how you bend wire. And then when we look at our part, we can see that it's fair and square. We got two parallel lines here and here. If we look this way, we have no twist. This line is directly over this line, no twist, and we're good. And we can proceed around the horn. So we'd mark dead center here, make our next bend, and so on. And that's how you bend wire. That's easy. You don't have to make jigs or do anything crazy. Get yourself a pair of pliers, right? Pair of pliers, piece of wire. Make sure it's more than long enough to make your part before you start. And start bending and twisting and shouting as you go. Later.